the young hero was Men Fei, and he was kind of a Fu Sheng clone, and played mostly in independent films as the baby-faced ingenue hero. I remember him best for a trailer that's coming up, the sequel to Shaolin Poles, although he appeared in more than 50 other films, and it's just, so many people doing so many movies, 130 movies. And what's amazing is that while Golden Harvest and Shaw Brothers were the major studios, and these things are done on the cheap, using the same locale. You've seen this locale in this final fight in dozens, if not hundreds of movies. But look at the Kung Fu. This is extremely complex. 3 guys choreographed this. And also those wonderful special effects. They could produce a film in probably less than 10 days. And everyone had the same technique. I can't imagine. And also they filmed rain or shine, no matter what the heat was, at any given time. And these standing sets I've seen in Taiwan. They still exist, and I wish they still made films on them. But they would use them. All of them would just come into the same place. I bet when they finished this movie, another 2 productions came in. Oh, don't miss it. All right, here we go.
Oh, this movie.
Oh boy, here it is.
Yeah, go Michael,
Go
go.
Michael, go. This is actually Bruce Lee's first film that he directed. As everybody knows, Bruce Lee was like the sort of the reluctant Bruce Lee clone, but he was also, for that reason, probably one of the better ones. And it's this film, of course, we've got Lo Lei going to pop up in a little bit, who's much more known for Five Fingers of Death. But boy, he did a run of Bruceploitation films.
Oh yeah, in all the previews we're seeing, it's almost always Loliet.
Yeah, he's all over the place,
yeah.
isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, it comes up in Bruce's Fingers a little later.
Bruce's fingers.
And which won't have a title on it, but
Yeah.
we'll see it in a little bit. Now,
Yeah.
what's kind of interesting is most of the Bruceploitation films always wanted to find like elements of Bruce Lee films that they could kind of mimic in some way. And here, obviously, this is looking like Han's hand, except it's a little extended on a chain. Now, this guy here, this is his name's Robert Kerber.
That's right.
He did a couple of. I mean, you might know. I think he was also in what was it?
He was in Snuff Bottle
There you go.
Connection
But
and
Bruce's Deadly
Secret
Kung
Rivals.
Fu. Right. Yes. Yeah. And Bruce's Deadly Kung Fu, where he or Bruce Lee, I guess it was what's the other name? It's the story of Bruce Lee. I think it was what it was called.
Yeah.
He's been around. There's actually a commercial that runs on TV now with a guy that looks exactly like him for a beer commercial.
That's right. I turned to him here when I was writing this down. I said, Robert Kerber, who only appeared in 2 other films, is the Nunchuck a-hole.
Yes, that's right.
The Nunchuck a-hole.
And here it's kind of interesting because they put like knives at the end of the nunchucks to make it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
And he was the only Westerner in this movie that could actually fight.
There you go. Yes, that's true. And Paul Way there, of course, we know from Fists of Fury, and he ended up coming on later to do Fists of Fury 3, playing the same part he did in the original Fists of Fury.
Yeah, it's Bruce Lee, let's see, Bruce Lee directed this.
Yep.
But Wong Fei Long, who I like because he sounds like Wong Fei Hong, but it's Wong Fei Long and Sham Chin Bo are credited as the choreographers. And Long also acted, directed, and wrote a total of more than 75 other movies, while Chin Bo was known as an actor in a mere 142 films.
Oh, that lazy bones.
And of course, our buddy Lo Ye, it was the first American Kung Fu superstar, thanks to Five Fingers of Death. He appeared in 300 movies. And I met him at the Hong Kong Film Awards, where he introduced me to his businessman friends, and I got this overwhelming triad vibe from him. And I sort of went, I gotta go. But I first met him actually on the set of Jackie Chan's Miracle on the Shaw Brothers lot, which was one of my great memories. Now, does anybody know who that is? I'd love to find out the website.
Oh, this actor here they pulled in. You know, it's funny. I was trying to figure that out, like where else have I seen him pop up, but I haven't been able to figure him out yet.
But you could tell from his acting and his fighting there that you haven't seen him in anything else.
That's true.
That they just found him on the street.
And here's an opportunity for Bruce Lee to do his eyes closed Wing Chun stuff, you know, so he was kind of looking into that opportunity a bit.
He was looking into that opportunity.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't want to direct. I just want to do that closed eye stuff. And now, this is a special film from every standpoint. This is Kung Fu versus Yoga.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Now, the director, Chen Chuan, only directed 8 films, including what I call the cobbled together, generally reviled, hack job Fearless Hyena 2, which is the Jackie Chan mess. But he choreographed 40 films, including the aforementioned King Boxer, which was Five Fingers of Death, the original title, Five Fingers of Death, as well as The Water Margin and When Taekwondo Strikes. He acted in everything, almost 100 other films. I love this sort of stuff. Somebody got the idea when they saw somebody, maybe this gentleman, do yoga, that this would make a great kung fu film. I've done some research on how these things were written, and basically, I think they followed the Shaw Brothers rule, or the old-time silent film rule, which is a bunch of guys got together and figured it out. In the case of Jackie Chan, they would figure it out just before they filmed it. And I doubt these things were heavily scripted, because like all the kung fu movies, or all the Chinese movies at the time, they were filmed silently and dubbed multiple times.
Like Italians.
Right.
At the time, yeah.
唔知道喺我老豆鬥那聲傳俾我嘅。我唔理你老豆鬥那聲。
This movie was a vehicle for the extremely noticeable Qin Yuet Sang, who appeared in so many Yun Wu Ping films, I thought he was part of the family. He directed 5 films, including the Shaw Brothers' near-classic Lion vs. Lion, which was only marred by a really downer ending. But he's much better known as an action actor and co-choreographer, working in more than 100 films. I remember him best as the amazing sleeping kung fu villain in John Woo's Last Hurrah for Chivalry. Now, San Qi is the comic villain, as he is in almost 100 films. Those guys are fascinating, because once they got their persona in these films, no director wanted them to deviate from it. I mean, these guys weren't saying, oh, I want to do comedy, I want to do drama. They were saying, you played the little scumbag and you're playing it for the rest of your life in hundreds of films.
And,
Right.
Yeah, and he played the scumbag pretty well in this, because both of the protagonists are total douchebags.
Yeah. Alan Chu co-stars, and he was something of a Philip Kwok Choi clone, who was the head of the Venoms, because his head shape and sharp noses were similar. But he started as an extra in King Hu's classic Come Drink With Me, then like seemingly everybody else in these films, choreographed 40, appeared in 130, jumping from Shaw Brothers Studio to Independence with abandon. The woman in here, because I know whenever I see these kind of previews, I'm always, I've seen her in a lot of stuff. Who is that? And this one is Michelle Kim, who started as a maid in Xu Huan's classic Intimate Confessions of a Chinese Courtesan, then went on to more than 50 films, including Choi Hart's We're Going to Eat You, and the somewhat beloved Ambitious Kung Fu Girl.
Yeah, I was going to say she was an Ambitious Kung Fu Girl, and she's actually still a big TV star.
In Hong Kong?
Hong Kong.
Oh, in Hong Kong stuff, yeah. Hong Kong stuff at this point, because China has taken over Hong Kong, it's hard to discern, although the Hong Kongese and the mainland Chinese like to make an incredibly different variation. You'll notice also with these wonderful previews, they show you the entire movie, essentially. Except for the very last shot. There we go. Well, that villain got found out. All right. And now we can... All right, here we go. Death Blow.
Good title.
Yep. Another thing you have to notice in these films, you are going to see the widest range of production company names that you've ever seen. Now there's only 1 or 2 in China anymore.
Oh, good point.
Emperor movie groups. Here, you're going to see all these, Saturday afternoon production films present Death Blow. Teddy Yip, a fleshy-faced supporting actor, usually as a villain or comedy relief, directed this. And he also directed about a dozen other films, including Beardy's, Liang Chia-jen's most famous one, Thundering Mantis, or at least most famous in America. He was best known as an actor, of course, working extensively with Sammo Hung and his production company. Now, the choreographers here are really good. Chung Yan Yun and Yun Hua. Do you recognize any name from that lineup? You should. Yun Hua, of course, you know from all this stuff. But when you hear Yun as a choreographer, you're probably going to see some pretty good choreography.
Actually, in this you don't.
Oh.
And Yoon Pyu and Corey Yoon were also in this.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
They it's kind of surprising that they were all involved in this.
Yeah,
Just
but
the martial arts was not awesome.
but you know what's interesting about it? I think I attribute the lousy kung fu to the lousy star. When you have a really strong star, for some reason you suddenly have. You're an actor too, aren't
By
you?
the way, I think they
right.
were stretching the definition of sensation from Hollywood.
Well,
Except Jennifer
sensation
When
for
they-
them. Sensation for them. You know, a white woman who's naked in one of our films. Oh my!
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote down here. This is a super weird flick, seemingly designed to showcase Jenny Jones, who only appeared in this film, as far as I know.
I think we saw our best side there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex Lung, who only showed up in 7 films, and Steve Yu, who only appeared in 3, didn't help this film's much. Then there's our old slimy henchman buddy, Wai Pin Ao.
That's Paul Way, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
All way. Death Blow, which of course the producer saw the movie and said, what are we going to call this? We're going to call it Death Blow to our company. It'll never work again. But people, of course, new gimmick. New gimmick. You
Yeah.
see the spelling there. Superb action, which means it is not superb action. Yeah, this is very Jimmy Wang U-esque. I mean, this guy has doing it by the numbers. He has no powers in his strikes. Fight to the death to get you, to keep you in the theater. So
That's
you do
that,
not-
that chop and block kind of techniques there.
Exactly.
going on, Yeah.
It's not quite Sweeney arm, which is
Yeah.
popular with non kung fu people everywhere. But it is kind of, okay, I do this, now I do this, now I do this, and you will see a lot of that. But yeah, that's a very good point. This is not a good film. But you're watching the whole thing, and we've got the, yeah. Oh, wait, good reaction. That was well choreographed. There's the Yuns at work. They're making this work. That's probably one of the Yuns doing the stunting right there.
Probably.
That's another great thing about these choreographers. They often did all the doubling themselves. You'll see a lot of examples of that.
Kung Fu at its best.
Yeah. And I also love it. You can't tell what time. Oh yeah.
Why is there a brick wall?
Why
I
is
know,
there a
that's
brick
the
wall
best.
there?
There's no bricks anywhere else in this fire except
Yeah.
for right there.
And you can never tell what era these things are supposed to be representing. Steve Yu, not a great kung fu expert. Yeah. Alex Lung,
Black belt champion.
yes, which he bought at the
Local.
store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a great idea. I bet this did extremely well within its limited. Yeah, come on again. That's fine choreography. But I love these kind of movies because you figure I'm watching the film and I'm thinking, let's take place in